Hi everybody, it's Sminty with our Thursday radio report today. The radio ratings are out in my column that's posted at yournews.com. I run through the 12 plus ratings, but I have in front of me the age 25-54 ratings. These are considered the prime ad rates. And here's the morning show rankings of high interest to most of the readers over the years. Number one, WRIF, Mike in the Morning, hangs in there with a 7.9. That's up from a 7.8. What's interesting there, of course, when Drew Lane was there, the ratings were regularly in the 12 or 13 or certainly double digits division. So the fact that they're up in April is a good sign for the show, but it's still far behind the peak of the show back during the Drew and Mike heyday. Number two was WMXD, which is comic Steve Harvey. He got a 7.5, up from a 7.0. Third was Mojo in the Morning. They were down a full point, which is kind of interesting, 7.9 to 6.9. Although the station was the overall leader this month. That's kind of interesting, even with a major drop from the morning show in one of its key demos. Fourth was WDVD with Blaine and Lisa and Allison in the morning. They were up from a 4.9 to a 6.1. Another great showing for WDVD. A station that's been on the rebound really for the last 2 years. Fifth was WWJ. In the morning, Roberta Jacina, they went from a 5.0 to a 5.7. That's interesting because the weather wasn't all that threatening last month, and WWJ's ratings in the morning especially tend to rise during the wintertime when weather is bad. Sixth was Jay Towers, and here's a big drop here. They went from a 7.2 to a 5.6. That's Jay Towers and Bill McAllister. I'm sure that Tom Bigby over at WXYT will be looking at these numbers and trying to fix them in a hurry. Seventh was WDRQ, which of course has no morning team. They went from a 4.8 to a 5.5. Jim Harper's morning show on Magic FM went from a 5.7 to a 5.5. Ninth was WNIC. This show had a change. Chris Edmonds leaving, or basically more realistically, let go by the station. From a 5.9, they went down to a 5.0. That's very gratifying for Chris, not so gratifying for the cut-happy people at Clear Channel. And 10th in the morning was WYCD, that's Young Country, Dr. Don. He went from a 4.7 down to a 4.5, but that was still good for 10th place. Dick Purton, and I make the point in my column that I filed about the radio ratings, went from a 3.9 to a 4.3, age 25-54. So his ratings, both overall and in the key demo, went up with the loss of 2 of his members of Purton's people, and also went up with the show being shortened by an hour. Very interesting. Among female listeners in the morning, and I don't often touch on this, but this is a good time to do it. Number one was WDVD, Blaine and Lisa and Allison with a 10.9. Those are pretty impressive numbers, up from a 9.2. Second was Steve Harvey with a 10.7, up from a 9.6. Jim Harper had a 9.0, up from a 8.2. WNIC lost a load of listeners, 2 points in the morning. They went from a 10.4 to an 8.4 minus Chris Edmonds. Mojo in the Morning was steady at 7.7, both the same ranking they had for March and April. And in 6th place was WYCD, Young Country, Dr. Don and Friends. They went from a 5.9 to a 5.4. Riff in the Morning, among women, not a strong point, went from a 4.6 to a 4.0, but it's a male-oriented show. That's all for today. I'll be back with our Friday video. This is Sminty reporting for yournews.com Detroit.